Hello, welcome back to Frame Freedom. Today we're going to go over the most overlooked service item on your bike. We're talking about your throttle and clutch cables. Now I've personally seen out on a ride with someone and they've yanked the throttle and the cable's just snapped. So we're going to go over caring for your cables. Now as an example, I'm going to show you my old throttle cables that I replaced. Hello. Now I'm going to be honest, I didn't lube these cables at all. At the start I didn't really know how, and I didn't even really know it needed to be done. So let's get on with it and show you how to lube your cables. Hello, we're diving straight in with a voiceover. Hope this will make it easier to follow should you want to do this to your own bike. Firstly, we need to remove the two screws just shown on the underside of the throttle grip housing. My screws are a bit worn, so I'm just using a 1/4" ratchet with a bit adapter to provide some extra pressure just to ensure it doesn't slip. Just quickly, this is not a job you're going to need to do too often. Yanking your throttle hard and riding in rainy conditions, etc. will increase their wear. With the screws removed, we have gained access to the pull and return cables. You want to make sure you unlatch the pull cable first and return cable after. And with both cables disconnected, you want to inspect your cables for any fraying or damage. If you find any on yours, replace them. Previously you saw the state of my cables. Mine were actually also frayed at the throttle bodies, so inspecting here is only one side of it. If you want me to provide a video on throttle cable replacement, please hit like and subscribe and comment below. Getting back to it, we can then undo two 14mm nuts on the housing as pictured. In hindsight, you will be better off breaking this free before anything else. Toy. Once the 14mm nuts are disconnected, you can then feed the cables out of the housing. Okay. Next, I'm just going to use some spray lube aimed down the sleeve of the pull cable with a rag to catch any excess. Ugh, money shot, baby. Once you've squirted all over your bike, you can then work the cable back and forth to help the grease travel down the sleeve, trying not to be reminded by that in and out action you haven't had for a while since having a kid. You other parents know exactly what I mean. It's also a good idea to use a thick lithium grease inside the housing before reinstallation. Once both throttle cables are done, it's just a case of doing everything in reverse, feeding the cables back through the upper housing, and doing up the 14mm nuts by hand for now. Reattaching the return cable. And then the pull cable, and finally reinstalling the lower housing with our two mangled screws that I should probably replace at some point. Quickly, we'll just reinstall our bar end as well. As you can see here, we're probably going to need to adjust our throttle free play, and I'm going to show you how to do this now. Quick tip, cut two triangles of tape and place them on the cable housing and grip pointing towards the center as seen in the video. The free play is the travel in your throttle before the throttle bodies start to open. You can use the triangles to measure the distance of travel to make adjustment easier. To make any adjustments, just break the lock nut free on the pull cable, twist the adjuster and test it. Once happy, tighten the lock nut against the adjuster. don't forget to tighten the 14mm nuts once finished. And that is how to lube up your throttle cables. Next, we're going to move on to the clutch cable. Okay, similarly to the throttle cable, undo the locking wheel and twist the adjuster, line up the openings and lift the cable off. There will be a cable pin on the underside of the clutch lever. Just pry this out. It's a bit fiddly, but it's not too difficult. Spray more lube down the sleeve without making a mess this time. Work the lube down the sleeve as before. Then reinsert the cable to the lever, feed it through the grooves in the wheel nut and adjuster. After that, it's just a case of retightening everything, and that's all there is to it. Now we've got nicely adjusted throttle cable that's been all lubed up, and our clutch cable as well. Should be moving nice and freely and feel a little bit easier to pull in. Comment below what you want to see next.